The subway car rattled and screeched as it pushed through the dark tunnels beneath the city. Commuters sat hunched over their phones, exhausted after a long day, when a piercing cry suddenly filled the air. A baby's wail echoed through the car, high-pitched and desperate. People groaned, some rolled their eyes, others tried to cover their ears. But one man, dressed in an expensive tailored suit with a gold watch flashing under the dim fluorescent lights, bounced his baby awkwardly on his lap. His face was pale, his eyes filled with panic. He looked like someone who had never held a child for long, let alone comforted one. That man was Daniel King, a millionaire known in the business world for his ruthless decisions and wealth. But at this moment, none of his money mattered. He was just a father, holding his infant daughter, completely at a loss as her cries grew louder and louder. Sweat ran down his temple as he whispered desperately, "Please, sweetheart, please stop crying." Across the car sat a tired man in worn-out clothes, his shirt collar frayed and his shoes barely holding together. His name was Michael, a single dad raising his 5-year-old son alone after his wife had walked out years ago. He knew what it was like to hear a baby cry that hard, and he recognized the helpless look on Daniel's face. For a moment, he debated should he help or should he stay quiet. Like everyone else who was already judging, Michael took a deep breath and stood up. "Excuse me," he said gently, walking closer. Daniel looked up, startled, ready to snap back, but something in Michael's calm expression made him pause. "May I?" Michael asked, extending his arm slightly toward the baby. Daniel hesitated, torn between pride and desperation, but finally, he nodded. Michael carefully took the baby into his arms. He adjusted her against his chest, humming softly while rocking her in a rhythm only an experienced parent would know. He whispered small words, rubbing her back patiently. Within minutes, the baby's cries softened, her little fists unclenched, and soon she was asleep against his shoulder. The entire subway car, once annoyed, now fell into stunned silence. People stared, their eyes wide. Daniel exhaled shakily. "How did you?" His voice cracked with disbelief. Michael gave a faint smile. "I've been there. I know what it's like. Babies can sense when you're panicking. Sometimes they just need calm, steady arms." Daniel's jaw tightened. He was embarrassed. Here he was, a man who could buy anything money could offer, yet he couldn't soothe his own child. And this stranger, a man who clearly had nothing, had managed it so effortlessly. As the train rattled on, they began to talk. Daniel admitted that his wife had passed away suddenly just a few months earlier. He had thrown himself into work, terrified of failing as a father. Tonight was the first time he had dared to take his daughter out alone, but he hadn't expected it to turn into such a disaster. Michael listened quietly, nodding with understanding. He shared his own story, how his ex-wife had abandoned him when their son was just a baby, leaving him to juggle 2 jobs while raising a child on his own. He told Daniel how many nights he had paced the floor with a crying baby in his arms, feeling hopeless but never giving up. Daniel looked down, his throat tight. "I don't know if I can do this. I don't know how to be enough." Michael looked at him firmly. "You already are enough. The fact that you're here, trying, means more than you think. Money doesn't raise a child. Presence does. Patience does. Love does." Daniel's eyes stung with tears. No one had ever spoken to him like that before, not his business partners, not his friends, not even family. Everyone only saw him as powerful, successful, untouchable. But Michael saw the man behind the suit, the scared father who just wanted to do right by his child. By the time the train screeched to its final stop, Daniel's perspective had shifted. He didn't want to go back to his penthouse and hide behind walls of wealth. He wanted to really learn how to be the kind of father his daughter needed. Before Michael could leave, Daniel stopped him. "Wait," he said. I don't know how to thank you. But I need your help. You seem to know what I don't. Would you teach me?" Michael chuckled softly. "Teach you? I'm barely holding it together myself." "Exactly," Daniel replied. "That's what makes you the right person." From that day on, a strange but powerful friendship formed. Michael began spending time with Daniel, showing him little things: how to burp the baby, how to calm her, how to read her cues. In return, Daniel helped Michael with things he struggled with, finding better work, supporting his son's education, and even fixing the crumbling apartment Michael could barely afford. It wasn't charity, it was mutual. Two fathers, from completely different worlds, lifting each other up in ways they never expected. Michael gave Daniel the gift of fatherhood, teaching him to be present and gentle. Daniel gave Michael the gift of opportunity, helping him rebuild a stable life for his boy. They both faced challenges along the way: Daniel fighting the temptation to bury himself back in work, Michael struggling with pride and the fear of being seen as a charity case. But over time, they learned that strength wasn't about money or survival, it was about showing up for the people you love. Months later, on the same subway line where it all began, Michael sat with his son while Daniel cradled his daughter. This time, there was no crying, only laughter and warmth. Commuters smiled at the sight of two fathers and their children, proof that even the most unlikely encounters can change lives forever.